Hello. I like give me two of the pork spare ribs, two slabs of them, and I like them cut lengthwise, please.
No price.
Yeah. Well, I'll just take it
Come here. What? I'll just take it from here.
What time are you supposed to go to lunch?
Oh, you're not gonna be here.
So then who's gonna?
Nobody. They'll leave.
And can you crack them as well, please? Okay, family, today we're getting ready to make some rub for our ribs. So, we're going to use a 1 pound box of golden brown sugar. We got 1 cup of salt. We got 1 ounce, so we're going to use this whole thing of paprika. We got 1 tablespoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. We got 2 tablespoons of garlic powder and 2 tablespoons of ground mustard. Okay, let's get started by adding this full box of golden brown sugar. Okay, let's add our salt, our dry mustard. Sorry. Our black pepper, garlic powder, and cinnamon. And we're going to sift this together. You take your sifter. Let me get a spoon and spoon this in. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to sift this, say, about 3 times at least. Let me bring this back into the frame. Now, again, you're going to have to sift this about 3 times to fully mix this together, but I'm just trying to get it started a little bit. Now, let's bring this here. Okay, silly me. How about as I was on my third sifting, I realized that I forgot the red pepper and the paprika. So let's add that and redo it again. Okay, family. Once all sifted, it should look like that. And I just simply put it into a container. And we're going to fill it up. It yields about 2.5 cups of rub. You can use this on your chicken, your ribs. It's just a standard barbecue rub. Family, this is your regular standard beef ribs. And with your beef ribs, one thing about them, they're a little bit more tougher than your pork. So on my beef, I always take off what is called silver skin. This is called silver skin here, okay? And it's simply a membrane. And what you want to do is you want to remove that. Now, what we can do is you can simply pull it apart with your hand like so, or you could just simply take your knife and begin to pry this off of the back. Sometimes it'll come off really, really easy, and then other times you have to fuss with it like I am right now. But once you get the knife up under there and it's working up under there, it's easier to simply pull this off. Now sometimes it'll come off all in one pull, and then other times it'll come off in pieces like it is right now. But simply you want to now what you can do is get the knife up under there and work it up under there, and once you get it started, it begins to pull off like so. Because with this silver skin on here, not only does it make your meat tough, but it also, you can't penetrate the back end of your meat with the rub. Okay, family, here we go. This is the silver skin here, and this is what it will look like once you're done. Now, let me say this also. Okay, this meat has already been washed and everything. And I always like to add liquid smoke. I've also washed off these bottles because I knew I was going to be touching them and whatnot. But anyway, I like liquid smoke, so I like to put a little liquid smoke. Just a little bit, just a drop of it, because you're going to rub it in anyways. And even still, because this is beef, so I still would come back with a little bit of meat tenderizer. Now there are a couple ways you can tenderize your meat. You can use regular distilled white vinegar, and it will tenderize your meat as well. That is an old school way in which my father would do. He would put the ribs in a big trash bag, like your white trash bag. And okay, here's our rub. Let's come in with a little bit of that. Don't want to come out, and I done. There we go. And what Daddy would do is he would take some distilled white vinegar, and he would put the ribs inside of a trash bag, and he would pour the vinegar on the meat, and it would tenderize it. It would be very, very tasty. So that's one way to do it. Or you could just come in with your unseasoned. Make sure it's unseasoned, because the reason being, if you get the regular seasoned meat tenderizer, sometimes it will make your meat salty because it already has salt in it. Excuse me. It already has salt in it, and so you don't want to add more salt to whatever you're already adding. So just be mindful of that. And one thing about liquid smoke and such, it has a high sodium content. So we're just going to rub these guys down and get started on our pork. Now with our pork ribs, you can see I've already gotten started already with pulling the membrane off, which is the silver skin. On the pork, it is much more easier to remove than it is for the beef. With the pork, a lot of times it'll just come off in one stroke like this. See? Once you pull that off, you're good to go. Now, another thing about your pork ribs, you want them cracked. And so it like sometimes have like a rim right here. And when you get them cut, you want them cut lengthwise this way, okay? So then therefore now you have two pieces as opposed to one. And this is just simply one slab of ribs, okay? But it's just been cut in half. This is the other portion of it, okay? So you want them cut in half. Okay, family. It's been removed from the back, and here's the front. Okay, so now once again, we're going to get started with our liquid smoke. That was quite a bit, so just pour some in our hand. Okay. Now, just a little bit of that on just one side. This time I'm going to take my measuring cup, dip that inside of our rub. Rub that on our meat. Now with these baby backs, we're gonna also add those. I had these in the freezer, and so I forgot about them. So I said, okay, let me get the baby backs out. And these are still semi-frozen. I just had one. Okay, family. Once you have seasoned up your meat, you simply put it in a container such as this, and you apply a lid to it. Now, inside of here, I also have a slab of baby backs. So we have a slab of baby backs. I want to say maybe 2 slabs of pork ribs and 1 slab of beef. And we have our brats here at the top. And I just simply sprinkled a little bit more rub on the links here. And we're just going to allow this to sit and marinate overnight and get ready for the pit in the morning. It is now 11:39 in the p.m. And we're going to say good night and see you in the morning. Love you. Bye. Okay, family. We have begun barbecuing here. And what I did was we simply added some apple juice inside of a new spray bottle. You want to use a new one or one that is, sterilized and used for cooking, because otherwise you don't want hairspray and all that stuff on your stuff. And what you do is you simply spritz your meat, and it gives it an added taste on your meat. Not so much to affect your flame, because as you notice, one thing about barbecuing, your coals have to be white. If you guys can see that, you do not apply your meat onto your grill until your charcoal is completely white. Otherwise, you're going to be scorching the meat and burning it, and not barbecuing, you're burning. So alrighty, let's get started on that sauce. Okay, family, we're going to begin making the barbecue sauce. So you want to add 2 cups of ketchup. We'll We're going to get a can of beer. We're going to add some apple cider vinegar to taste. Let's start off first with about 3/4 of a cup of smoke. A little bit of crushed red pepper, which is cayenne pepper. We want to add some Worcestershire sauce. Some brown sugar. Some black pepper. Now you can also add a little bit of lemon juice. I haven't any, so I'm not going to add any lemon juice onto this. But you want to do this and you kind of want to taste it a little bit. See where that's at. We want to cook that down a little bit. Let me get some tomato paste. Okay, I have a can of tomato paste. We have some chili sauce here, so we're going to add a little bit left. That looks like it's about, I don't know, about 2/3 of a cup. Okay. Add a little bit of honey. Now, I do have some ready-made Bullseye Original, and I'm going to just add that in there, just for the sake of argument, being that I only have a little bit left. Now, what gives barbecue sauce the dark flavor is the molasses that's used in the barbecue sauce, and that's what gives it this dark flavor, the molasses. Okay, you want to add some salt. And really, when you're making good barbecue sauce, you just add a little bit at a time and you season it up to taste. So it's not so much of, 1 cup of this and 2 and 3 cups of that as if you're making a cake. When you're making barbecue sauce, there's really no rules, really. You're just doing it to taste, and if it tastes good to you and the flavor is brought up to your standard, then voila, that's it. But these are just your base ingredients that you would use to get started. Okay, family. It has cooked down a little bit. I'm going to taste it one more time for taste, and we're going to go and baste the meat. It's good. Very good. I think it's ready, babe. Okay, the meat has been fully cooked now, and what we're doing now is just kind of searing the barbecue sauce on the meat on little to no heat, just allowing the smoke to just sear the meat.